What's up, travellers? Welcome back to the channel. As J Aviation HQ here, and welcome back to the channel. Today we have the model review of the Qantas Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner released by Aviation400, of course wearing the Yam Dreaming livery. But of course, before we go any further into today's video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up below. Great indication of how much you enjoyed today's video and of course the content here on this channel. If you want to come along and tune into more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe below and ding the bell icon, as I have a great array of model reviews coming up very soon, including the likes of that Airbus A350 freighter by EG Models, and of course that Delta LA28 livery as well. And of course another unboxing video coming up very soon on the channel. It's gonna soon to be shipped to this direction, so you don't want to miss out on that. And of course a new airport update as well coming up very soon in the works. So moving forward into today's video, the Qantas 787-9 wearing the Yam Dreaming livery. So first of all, I'm going to be reading out some information about Qantas as an airline, and then some brief information about this particular airframe today. Let's go ahead and do that for you guys. So Qantas is the flag carrier airline of Australia and is the world's third oldest airline, being founded on November the 16th of 1920. The name Qantas is an acronym for of the airline's original name, which was Queensland and Northern Territory Aerial Services, as it originally served Queensland and the Northern Territory of Australia. Qantas is currently based in Mascot, Sydney, adjacent to its main hub at Sydney Kingsford Smith International Airport. According to planespotters.net, which I'll be linking the sources in the description below, Qantas operates an aircraft fleet of 125 aircraft, including a wide-body fleet consisting of 26 Airbus A330s, 10 Airbus A380s, and 14 of the Boeing 787-9 Dreamliners. On February the 1st of 1999, Qantas co-founded the One World Alliance alongside American Airlines, British Airways, Canadian Airlines, and Cathay Pacific. I should mention now that Qantas also have some 787-10s on order, and of course the Airbus A350 1000 ULRs as well, that we're soon coming out in the future. So looking forward to seeing them. So going into some information about this particular airframe now. This aircraft's MSN number is 63390. This aircraft's line number is 669. This aircraft here is a Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner, which first flew for Qantas on February the 15th of 2018. This aircraft here is 7.2 years old, with a registration of November 1006 Foxtrot. Of course, whilst it was being tested and flown around before being delivered to Qantas, of course. This aircraft here was built and produced at Everett Plainfield, just north of Seattle in Washington, USA, and this airframe is currently active on the international network for Qantas. This aircraft wears the registration of Victor Hotel Zulu November Delta. As mentioned, a Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner, which was delivered to Qantas on February the 26th of 2018. Equipped with two General Electric Gen X1 Bravo 74/75 engines. This aircraft is nicknamed Emily Cummy. I'll just put the name on the screen at the moment. I'm not going to butcher that for you guys, but it is nicknamed in Australia Emily, just because of the name of the aircraft. But of course, that name will be on the screen right about now, as mentioned. And of course, aircraft is currently painted into the Yam Dreaming Aboriginal art livery, which was ferried between Painfield and Boeing Painfield at Everett, Washington, and Alice Springs between February the 28th and March 2nd of 2018 on its delivery flight. Of course, Alice Springs being located in the smack bang middle of Australia in the Northern Territory, just north of, I think it's just north east of the of Uluru or Ayers Rock, the famous landmark in Australia. So with that information out of the way, let's go ahead and take a brief look of the box for you guys. And Here it is, looking absolutely gorgeous as always. Apologies if you can hear any of the traffic. It's just starting to begin as the rush hour period here. But here we have the top left corner, we have the Boeing logo there, and continuing on this side we see the 787-9 titles also in the Boeing font, and on the top right we have the Aviation400 titles there, or the logo. Very cool. Here we have the gorgeous 2D rendering of this aircraft, looking fantastic in this livery. And on this side we have the Qantas Silveroo logo there, very nice. Here we have the registration of this aircraft, Victor Hotel Zulu November Delta. And of course this aircraft is in 1:1 scale, very cool. And right here it says that this is a die-cast aircraft model. On the bottom panel we see the Qantas logo there, 1:1 scale. Panning across like this, we have the aircraft looking gorgeous as ever, a Boeing 787-9 with the registration Victor Hotel Zulu November Delta. Very cool. And the art number Alpha Victor 4260, very cool. On this panel here, the right panel, we have the Qantas logo, very cool. On the top panel, identical to the bottom side, very nice. And on this side we have enlarged text that it is a Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner. On the back panel we just have the Qantas logo in the middle of the panel here, and on the bottom we have the warning information in various languages, mainly I believe that's Chinese, Japanese, and of course English. And on this side we have the barcode and where it is made, of course China. I should mention that this aircraft is also equipped with the magnetic gears, which I'll be showing you later on in the video. Now just a wee fun fact before I go ahead and showcase the model for you guys. Did you know that this aircraft features approximately 5,000 dots and took 60 graphic designers, engineers and painters 10 days to paint the entire aircraft? And of course this was rolled out at Boeing Painfield, of course located in Everett, Washington. 5,000 dots and took 60 people to paint it in 10 days. Quite staggering. Just like the broccoli, the A220, which I showcased in a recent airport update. I believe that aircraft has 20,000 dots. So if you think that this is a lot, go ahead and check that out. I might do a model review of that A220. Let me know in the comment section below if you would like to see that. I don't usually do airport updates, model reviews of narrow body aircraft, as I believe it takes a little bit more of an effort to focus on it, which is why I like to stick to doing wide body model reviews. But let me know if you want me to change that around. Of course it would provide you with more content as well. So with that out of the way, the reading out of the information of the airline and the aircraft, and of course the showcasing of the box, let's go ahead and check out the model. And here is the absolutely stunning Yam Dreaming livery on this Qantas Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner by Aviation400, looking absolutely fantastic indeed. Now this model here arrived in my collection in early April, I believe, before the 18 models in that model unboxing. So go ahead and check that out if you haven't checked it out already. But yeah, this aircraft looking absolutely gorgeous indeed. Without any further ado, I'm going to go right ahead and review it for you guys, giving you some in-depth information about what each of the components do on this aircraft and whatnot, and of course giving you some nice imagery of the details on this aircraft. So let's go ahead and zoom in right ahead and review it for you guys. So first and foremost, going to be zooming right into the aircraft and getting it up close to the camera for you guys. And here it is, might just back up a little bit. How good. And here is the model for you guys. How gorgeous does this look? As mentioned, this does include the magnetic gears, as I'll show you in a moment when we look at the underside of the aircraft. Now at the forward part of the aircraft, just there we have the nose cone. Now underneath that is a component called the weather radar, right in the middle of the shot there. Now the weather radar is used to detect storms along the flight path of a flight, to give visual indications of the rainfall intensity ahead of them, and of course the possibility of turbulence as well. This enables the crew to navigate around any potential hazardous areas along the flight path that they've assigned for the flight. So very, very cool. Absolutely fantastic effort of the Dreamliner's cockpit windows there, looking fantastic as always. Let me try and see if I can zoom in and focus on it better. How's that? Looking good? Very cool. Now here we have the window wipers just there as well, looking really, really nice as well. Right here on this side of the aircraft we have the aircraft's name, which I almost butchered earlier on in the video, so I do apologize for that. But nicknamed Emily, very cool. And of course here we have, next to that we have the pitot tube, and the pitot tube is used to measure fluid flow velocity during a flight. And then of course those two things there, just to my thumb or finger there, those are the pitot tubes. Above that would be the angle of attack, or the AOA sensor, that offers a visual indication of the amount of lift the wings are generating at a given airspeed angle, given airspeed or angle of bank. So very nice indeed. Moving down the aircraft, we have the first of the cabin doors here. This is the L1 boarding door. Next to that would be the One World Alliance logo there, very nice. Here we have the aircraft's nose gear, if I can take it out for you guys, there we go. And of course it does have the November Delta details there, of course the last two digits of the registration. Very cool. Let's put that back in if I can, there we go. Moving down the aircraft, we have the cabin windows looking fantastic as ever. And on the top here we have one of my favorite details of the Aviation400 mold, which of course this beacon light here, the ruby red beacon light. As you can see, based off the lighting in my room at the moment, you can just, it almost mimics a beacon light flashing. As you can see with me moving it around, looks absolutely fantastic indeed, doesn't it? Here we have, next to that, we have the first of the antenna on top of this aircraft. Having a little bit of trouble focusing on it for you guys, but maybe the lack of light in my room perhaps. Here we have the Qantas titles here, looking cool as ever. And right here we have the second of the cabin doors. This is the L2 boarding door. And next to that we have another One World logo there. You can pretty much point out whether it is a boarding door or not because it has the One World logo next to it. There and there. Very nice. Maybe the one at the back might have one too, as that could also be a boarding door if boarded by the apron maybe. Here we have the Spirit of Australia titles seen on all of the Qantas fleet. Very cool. And here we have the start of the Yam Dreaming decals here, looking rather nice indeed. I think Aviation400 did a very good job of this aircraft. Here is this side's Gen X1 Bravo engine looking into the fan blades there. Very, very nice indeed, with the spiral on the spinner there. and the vortex generator as well. Now that is used to deflect any of the airflow onto the leading edge of the wing. That's of course what generates those vapor trails over the wing when the aircraft just starts to rotate out of an airport. Here is the aircraft's engine on the side angle. This is the famous chevrons on the edge of the nacelle there, looking very nice indeed, and of course the exhaust as well, looking rather nice indeed. Here is an up close view of the wing, looking really nice indeed. And here is another one of my favorite aspects of the Dreamliner in general, seen on all of the variants, Dash 8, Dash 9, and of course the Dash 10, the raked wingtip on the end of the Dreamliner's wing. Now it's not seen on this model for some reason, but here we have the red navigation light. Next to that would also be the white strobe light, LED strobe lights. On the Dreamliner, they are often seen very brightly flashed once. Also seen on all of the other aircraft in the Boeing catalogue. The strobe lights flash once when seen overhead. If it flashes twice, you are seeing an Airbus, particularly seen on the 350, the 330, and every 320, 321, etc. Very cool indeed. Of course, the other side, the navigation light would also be green, which we'll be having a look at later on. Here we have, in the midst of all of these dots, here we have the L3 door, mainly used as an emergency exit door. On the top here we have the SATCOM, the Wi-Fi dome. That is what provides the IFE on board the aircraft, the IFE in-plane entertainment on board the aircraft, seen behind each of the seats on the aircraft. Moving along, we have the registration and the Australian flag, Victor Hotel Dash Zulu November Delta, and below that we have Emily. Of course, this is what this aircraft is nicknamed, and of course this is what the aircraft, I believe Emily was the person who painted the actual artwork which is seen on this aircraft. And of course Belleringi, if I'm pronouncing that right, that is I believe the partnership for the Australian the Qantas original Aboriginal art series, seen on each of the Aboriginal liveries, ranging from the Winala Dreaming that was seen on the 747s, the blue livery, which I can't remember the name of, the Mendoridri livery that's seen on the 737, the Broccoli livery that's seen on the A220, and of course another one that was also on the 737-800 before the livery was changed, of course. Very nice indeed, and as you can see there's a antenna on the bottom here and two more on the top of the fuselage. Getting to this portion of the aircraft, we have the L4 door, I believe, not mainly used as a boarding door, but it could also be used as a boarding door when leaving the aircraft via the air stairs on an apron, boarding the buses perhaps, and of course it'll also use as a emergency exit door. Here we have an up close view of the empennage, and of course the tail fin, looking absolutely fantastic indeed. Very nice Subaru livery, Subaru emblem, of course. Subaru livery is what the original, the standard livery is of the Qantas livery. And of course, here at the end of the aircraft, here we have the APU. Very nice, and of course they would also have strobe lights next to that as well. Does kind of look a little bit worn on the very tip of the APU. Doesn't really bother me at all, to be honest. Now here we have on the elevators, here we have some small silver dots here They are called logo lights. They illuminate light onto the tail fin during the night operations. That of course is used to give some identification to the ATC or anyone who is in the control tower at a given airport, to give an indication of who the airline of this aircraft is. In this case it would of course be Qantas. Also could be giving some sort of a marketing tool to people within or around an airfield, to maybe potentially give them the sense of wanting to fly Qantas perhaps. There are also some things along this portion of the aircraft as well. I think you can just make it out here. They are the wing lights. I believe the wing light is here, I believe, maybe here. But right here in the middle of the shot, you can just see the grey dots of the pedostatic system that is used to determine an aircraft's airspeed, Mach number, altitude and altitude trend during a flight. So very cool indeed. I'm not too sure where the wing light is on this portion of the aircraft. I think it might be these here, I'm not too sure, but we might be able to see them on the other side of the aircraft. And of course right here in the middle of the shot, if I can focus on it for you guys, we have the wing light. Of course this is used to when operating on an active runway between 0 and 10,000 feet and whilst airborne. This can be turned off to the pilot's discretion above 10,000 feet, but of course it is always used on an active runway. So very nice indeed. Let's go ahead and look at the other side of the aircraft momentarily. I love the gradient work that Aviation400 have done on this aircraft. Looks absolutely fantastic. Looking rather cool indeed. The only real differences on this side of the aircraft that we have an emergency escape hatch on this top of the cockpit right here. At the forward part of the aircraft, we have the forward baggage compartment just here. And moving to the rear of the aircraft, you can just vaguely see the white outline there of the rear baggage compartment for the cargo as well. Everything else is mainly flipped on this side, but of course here we have the number 2 engine, I believe, of the Gen X1 Bravo engines, looking rather nice indeed. If I can perhaps showcase the engine a little bit better there. Try and get some focusing on it. Really cool indeed. And just as I mentioned earlier, the navigation light on this side of the wing is of course green, as you can see. Very cool indeed. Everything else is basically flipped around. As mentioned, 5,000 dots can be seen on this livery. I like the gradient work that they've done. As you can see, it goes from red up here. It actually includes the orange on the belly, which we'll be having a look at them in a moment, and then goes down to dark red. One of the best interpretations of this livery that I've seen on a model. It does look fantastic indeed. Let's have a look at the belly, because this is probably the best part. As I can see, it looks fantastic indeed. I love this model so much. So here we have at the forward part of the belly, we see the nose gear door. That of course is where the nose gear would retract into. Here we have moving down, we have the ruby beacon light. You can just make it out in the middle of the shot there, doing a fantastic job. Here we have the stand hole, where this model does come with the stand included. So that's just some information for you guys. Here we have the outline of the landing gear doors. It of course is where these two landing gear would retract into when departing an airfield or an airport. Here we have the outlining of the ram air turbine, otherwise known as the RAT, the small propeller light feature that drops down below the belly of the aircraft during the event of testing of the aircraft. And of course, moving down looking at all of the dots seen on this aircraft does look fantastic. Here we have an antenna just there, looking pretty cool. And at the rear of the aircraft we can see the entryway to the APU, auxiliary power unit, an additional engine on board the aircraft. And here we have the underside of the two Gen X-1 Bravo engines, looking rather nice indeed. Registration of the aircraft, Hotel Zulu November Delta. And as mentioned, these gears are magnetic. We just take it out like that. And there's the magnet seen on the aircraft. And what you just do is you put it underneath the little opening there and plop it back into place. These gears are they do pivot on the axis like that. Very good. This one doesn't really do that, but I can assure you that the other one does. Very cool. And that is pretty much that for the model review of this stunning aircraft, the Qantas Boeing 787-9 Yam Dreaming livery, looking absolutely fantastic indeed. Let me know what you enjoyed in today's video by commenting below what your thoughts are. Let me just go back a little bit. I do just want to take a moment just briefly to bring in the Phoenix release of this aircraft, just to show you the differences of this aircraft. As you can see, this is the Phoenix release. The colouring, you can see, if I can just zoom in a little bit more and tilt it up a little bit, you can just see the massive differences to this livery. Of course, this one here, the Phoenix release, was released in 2018. It was meant to feature the orange part, only really seen on the belly of the aircraft vaguely, if I can say so myself. The 2018 release, I believe it was released alongside JC Wings and other multiple brands. I don't believe Qantas has released it, but this model was actually cancelled, the release of it, because of the licensing. I'm not too sure how Aviation400 worked around releasing the this model here, but they did a fantastic job either way. That Phoenix release that I just showed you a moment ago will now be up for sale as soon as this video is concluded, the filming of it. So I don't need two of them. The Aviation400 one does the work for my liking, so the Phoenix release will be now up for sale. So that will do it for today's video, guys. The model review of this Qantas Boeing 787-9 in the Yam Dreaming livery. Again, apologies if you can hear the traffic in the background behind me. Here is now rush hour here on the east coast of New Zealand, so apologies for that. If you did enjoy what you saw in today's video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up below. Great indication of how much you enjoyed today's video and of course the content here on this channel. If you want to come along and tune into more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe below and ding the bell icon to not miss out on any upcoming videos on this channel, including the model review of the Delta Airlines LA28 Olympic livery, also by NG Models, and of course the 350 freighter, but also by NG Models as well. I don't know why I said also by NG Models, as of course this model here is by Aviation400. Of course, this model also was released by NG Models, but under the NG Models Light branding, without the Drury beacon light and of course the antennas as well. But I wanted to go for this one, as of course it does the job for my collection. Comment below, as I mentioned before, what you've enjoyed in today's video, and of course share this video to any of your friends or anyone who may benefit from this video. So that would do it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed what you saw and came along to view. If you did, of course, go ahead and leave a like below, comment below, and of course subscribe and ding the bell icon as mentioned. Now on the end screen will be some options for you guys. On the left hand side will be the most recent video here on this channel. On the right hand side will be the 4 playlist of model reviews here on this channel. In the middle will be where you can subscribe. But until next time, guys, fly safe, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.